Good day, beautiful people. These are some of the things that I wish I had asked for in my baby registry. The first is distilled water. You're going to need plenty of this if you are making powdered formula. Whether it be powder or pre-made formula, it's great to go ahead and have it on hand just in case you don't have enough breast milk or you don't plan to breastfeed at all. Diapers, and not just newborn diapers, but diapers in various sizes because babies grow so fast and you just never know. So a good idea is just to request them in a variety of sizes. A baby changing table or station. I do not have one of these and I wish I did. One of the beds is a bit too low and it hurts my back to change the baby on it. So there are times like that I wish I had a changing table, especially if you don't want to change the child on a couch or any other surface. It's good for them to have this. Also for the mothers, if you've had an epidural or two, you know what I'm talking about, or just the fact that you just want to keep a good posture. A humidifier. You don't know how important this is going to be until your baby gets a cold or you get a cold. So it's not only beneficial for the child, it's also beneficial for you and your household as well. So go ahead and request one. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Burping cloths. You're going to need lots of these. I sent my baby over to a family member's house and they were looking for burping cloths or receiving blankets and I didn't have any. It's just something that I didn't even think to have or to get. So they actually gifted me with some and they come in handy. They're very great to have. You're going to be wiping lots of milk and vomit and spit up. So you're going to have a whole lot of these in tow, which will be very beneficial to you. Baby socks is a great thing to request, and request them in various sizes. Again, because these children grow so fast, and once you wash them, they're pretty much done. Baby clothes is another item in various sizes. Onesies, especially long sleeve and short sleeve variety, are going to be some of your go-tos because you're going to have blowouts, you're going to have vomiting, spit ups, and children go through multiple pairs of clothes a day. And in the summertime, you want to have your short sleeves to keep them nice and cool. And then in the wintertime, if you just want to keep their upper torso warm, but you want to have a balance because it's kind of hard to tell when a child is hot or cold, and babies go through these little spats where they're sweating and you have no idea that they're hot. So the onesies are a great thing to have in your arsenal. Baby receiving blankets. Now these are the larger ones, not just the burping cloths that I mentioned earlier. These blankets, as far as I'm concerned, need to be cotton because the cotton is going to keep the baby cool. Something that I notice is that the wool blankets, because I have a child that's hot-natured, laying him on wool blankets for extended periods of time make him extremely hot. So cotton blankets are my go-to to lay him on, especially if you want to lay him on different surfaces like your couch, if you have something to do, or if you want to lay him on a bed that's not his own or a surface that's not his own. If he's visiting or out at the babysitter with someone else, you want to always have them lay the child on their own items. So it's good to have a lot of their cotton blankets in reserve. Baby towels is something that I wish I had asked for, and not just any baby towels. You want to get cotton baby towels, and let me tell you why. Because a lot of the baby towels I noticed are made of this synthetic fiber, and that synthetic fiber is not very absorbent at all. So you want to make sure that the towels are cotton and also that they have the hood on them, and the hood comes in handy especially when you've shampooed your baby's hair, and you're going to do that more than you think you will because more times than not they're going to have cradle cap, and so you're going to be shampooing their hair often. And when you do, You want to cover their head as much as possible because their pores are open and they're very small and susceptible, and you don't want them to get cold and their body temperature to drop. So you want to have a hood on it, to keep the baby warm after a bath, especially if you have to walk a little distance and you don't want the breeze to get on them before you can dry them off completely. A baby bathtub. Now, it's important to really dig into what type of bathtub you want for your child, because this bathtub was gifted to me a couple years ago for my last son who passed away, and I kept the tub because I knew I wanted to try again. But now I'm noticing that for little boys, this tub is not probably the best on their little genitalia. I don't like the fact that it really doesn't have a lot of give, and that you have to watch out for their boy loins, their boy parts down there, because it's really easy to forget that this stump is here. So you just want to look for the type of tub that's going to be beneficial for you. Now, for girls, you won't have this issue, but I noticed that for a little boy, it's always something on my mind if they're comfortable or not in this type of bathtub. Several bottle brushes is something that I wished I asked for. You're going to go through these, and especially if you want to make sure that they're always clean or sanitized and you have a fresh one, and especially if the child is going to daycare or a babysitter and you want to make sure that they have their own bottle brush, you want to ask for several of these so that you can have them in different places. A dose pacifier may be something that you'd like to ask for. My child hates taking medicine, so just giving it to him with a syringe is not very good or beneficial. He ends up spitting a lot of it out. But I did notice with the dose pacifier, he gets a whole lot more of it down, and so we're not wasting a whole lot of product, and it's actually getting into his system and being beneficial to him. Bottles, bottles, bottles. You want to make sure you ask for the type of bottle that you like and do your research, because there are lots of different types of bottles and they do have some that are specific to certain ages. But you want to ask for a lot of bottles, because especially if a child is going to be cared for outside of the home, you want to make sure they have bottles there. You want to make sure you have bottles at home or wherever the child is going to frequent. And also, because you're a new mom, you're going to be tired. You may not feel like cleaning or sterilizing bottles. So you just want to make sure you always have enough so that if you don't have the time to clean, or for whatever you have to come and go, you have a lot of them at your disposal. I wish I had asked for more fragrance free and hypoallergenic products, because I personally have sensitive skin, and especially with a new baby, you don't know how they're going to react to the environment or what they're going to be sensitive to. So I think it's personally best to start out with things free of as much chemicals and fragrance as possible on their delicate skin. So I did get a lot of fragrance-free items, but I wish I had made it more clear that that's all that I desired. It's inevitable that your child is going to get some type of cold, because they're going to come into frequent contact with different people, different environments. So they're probably going to have some type of mucus, especially when their lungs are still getting acclimated to the environment. This particular cough syrup is for 3 months and up, and it's very hard to find any cough syrup for children 0 to 3 months. But this one I did find, and it might be something you want to put on your registry just to have in the arsenal just in case. I was not familiar with gripe water, but I wish I had asked for it if I knew about it sooner. It's good for gas, colic, hiccups, and fussiness, of which you're going to come in contact with a lot with a newborn. Infant Tylenol, and this is self-explanatory. You're probably going to need this much sooner if you have a little boy, especially if you're having them circumcised. but of course, it's going to always be good to have this just in case. Something important that I want to note, this particular Tylenol that I'm showing you is very hard to find. And to be honest with you, I haven't found it at all. The Tylenol that I see is for 2 years old and up, and they tell you to consult your doctor for anything under 2 years old and anything under about 23 pounds or so. However, the doctor recommends infant Tylenol. So that's something that I didn't understand, why it's so hard to find this particular Tylenol that's specifically for 0 to 23 months or up to 23 pounds. But the other one has no specific directions for children under the age of 2 years old. So keep that in mind. And if you want children's Tylenol, or I'm sorry, infants Tylenol, make sure you search for it in that the people getting you your gifts through registry can actually find the type of Tylenol that you want. Otherwise, you're going to have to do the guessing game and consult your doctor about the specific dosage to give your infant. 1% hydrocortisone cream is something that I wish I had asked for. At about 3 weeks of age, my son came into contact with something, and I was so concerned, overly concerned about what it could be. I didn't know what it was. And so when I went to the doctor, they weren't very concerned at all. They just said it was some type of contact dermatitis or sebaceous activity going on. But this 1% hydrocortisone cream cleared up the issue within a couple days, and I was extremely impressed and surprised of the actual effectiveness of this product. Saline solution is something I wish I asked for. Again, with infants and newborns, you are going to deal with a good bit of mucus with them getting accustomed to their new environment. So, this is a safe remedy for helping them expel some of the mucus in their system. I wish that I had asked for more visual sensory products like books or flashcards for the baby. High contrast children's books have many advantages and are important for the development of the youngest readers. One of the main advantages of these books is visual stimulation. Bright, vivid images in contrasting colors are easier to see for infants and toddlers who are just developing their visual skills. Contrasting patterns and colors attract a child's attention and stimulate his or her eyesight, which is important for their further development of visual perception and also has a beneficial effect on the child's brain development. Hence, color contrasts stimulate neurons and help build connections between different areas of the brain. Children who are experienced with these types of books are more likely to develop cognitive mental abilities. Looking at high contrast books is a great opportunity to interact with your child together. You can show him the pictures and tell him about what you see, which strengthens the emotional bond between you and your child. So, again, I wish I had more of these types of products. I bought this book recently, but I will be buying some more sensory products very soon for my infant. A tummy time mat is something that I wish I had asked for. I still don't have a tummy time mat, but it's something that I am going to invest in. Of course, you all know this is important for helping the child to develop their core strength, which will benefit them later on when they start walking, and for stability, but just something to keep them occupied. And again, this is another sensory tool as well, but this is something that I wish I had on my registry. Last but not least, good old Vaseline. Of course, you want to have Vaseline because it doesn't have any fragrances in there that are going to irritate your child. Again, you're going to need this sooner than later, especially if you have a little boy and you are having him circumcised. Also, if you have a child with dry skin, this is very good to have on deck to keep them nice and moisturized and to keep the moisture in their skin. So you want to make sure you have Vaseline to slather them down after their bath, because personally my son has dry patches and dry skin, and this also came in handy when he had the rash and helped his skin stay moist and not dry. So Vaseline is something you want to ask for. And not only is it beneficial for the child, it can be beneficial for you too as a mom, especially if you're breastfeeding. And this is something you can put on your nipples. It doesn't have a scent, a fragrance, a taste, so it's not going to affect the child at all. So these are some of the products that I wish I had put on my baby registry. It's best to have more than one of these things, to keep a whole lot of them and have on hand for your baby, especially if you're going to have them out and about at different places, babysitters and things of that nature. It's best to have more than enough. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you have any items that you wish you had asked for on your baby registry, shoot them down below. Let me know any other questions, comments, concerns about any of the products that I have listed here. I want to hear about it also, and I want to thank you all for watching, and be blessed, new mommies.